Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Frank Mullen joins us. He's the editor of Reno News and Review, talking voter fraud. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Hello, is this D&D Roofing?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
You did such a great job on my roof. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner.
Oh, can I speak to your supervisor?
Sure.
How may I help you?
I love your work. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner. We're all owners. Well, that's why at D&D we work so hard to keep your home safe and sound.
Oh, no wonder.
D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal. Local, employee-owned, here for you.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program Frank Mullen. He is the editor of Reno News and Review. Pleasure to have you back on the program, sir.
Good to see you, Sam.
So the reason that you're here today, initially at least, is to talk about voter fraud or the absence of it. Tell me what, and by the way, for those that may not know you, which I find hard to believe, anybody who's a news fan in Nevada, you're one of the top investigative reporters we've ever had in the state. So,
oh, well, thank you.
So tell me what was the result of your investigation into alleged voter fraud?
What got me started on it was the accusations that were being made in Clark County that, number one, that truckloads of ballots were coming in from God knows where, and also, and this is a quote from Adam Laxalt and the other fellow he was with in the press conference a few days after the election, saying that there were hundreds of people, dead people, who had voted in Clark County. And he could prove it, but he never did. But they did come up with two names in Clark County, two people, who had been sent mail ballots to their homes. They had been dead since 2016. And those ballots in Clark County were filled out and mailed. In the one case, according to the LA Times, there was a daughter of the man who died who filled out the ballot and apparently signed it in her own name, perhaps thinking it was her ballot, or maybe thinking she could fill in for her father, I don't know, and sent that in. And the other one is still being investigated, where the exemplar of the signature seems to match the signature that was done in. So somebody might have really tried to pull something off with that one. But that got me thinking about, well, what about Washoe County? We have 304,000 registered voters on our list here. And they got back, Washoe County got back, and I wrote down the figure to make sure I didn't make a mistake, 12,202 mail ballots in the general election in return mail for addressees that were not there. And so I decided to try to look at those, and what I did was check more than 80 of those names to find out what happened to those folks. And in every case but one, those people had moved away and were very much still alive, according to the internet anyway. I didn't physically talk to them. But they had simply changed their address and not notified the registrar. And there were, out of those 12,200 that were returned, some of them had, you could tell from reading the voter lists, which are public information, that they later on voted in person. So came in and changed their address when they voted in person. But anyway, I managed to find one person who had died, was sent a ballot, but in that case, the ballot was sent back to the registrar unopened. And this man had died in 2017. He was 89 years old, he lived on Skyline, and also had a post office box listed as his mailing address. But in any case, the ballot was returned intact. They never found him to change his address. He, like I said, he had passed away, but that was the only case I found in Washoe. So no one that I looked at, and I couldn't look at hundreds and hundreds of them, but just from that spot check, nothing untoward had happened with The Walking Dead in Washoe County.
And we had George Harris on the program, Nevadans for Sound Government, who was saying that he had cross-checked information with the Registrar of Voters and people who had died in Washoe County and had found 1,000 dead people that had voted. And
I missed that. I would love to see that, because I did that with, I didn't put it in the story, but I looked up obituaries of fairly prominent people and also people that I had personal knowledge of that I had reason to believe were registered voters. And just for spot checks over the last 3 years, I tried like 10, 15 people from each and tried to find them on the registrar's list and was unsuccessful, although I did find some surviving spouses and certainly family members of that person, but no dead people.
okay, so if you just go back, I think it's been the last month or so, that you can find the George Harris interview and check it out for yourself.
Did he offer any proof, any evidence, other than his saying it?
He said that he had personally checked that information himself. And I will be happy to give you his cell phone number after we're done on the program, so that you can talk to George. George was at one point the Republican State Party chair. So he certainly has, a lot of knowledge of what goes on in.
But anyway, he's claiming these people voted or were sent a ballot.
Well, he's claiming that dead people voted. So.
Yeah, so that is a lie. I will go on record as saying the man is saying a mistruth. If he can prove it, he should have proved it. He should have come forward, because that would be a travesty if that occurred. I do not believe of that. And I don't believe he could come up with a shred of evidence that would show that. And if he could, why on earth has he, he mentioned it on your program, why on earth isn't he shouting this from the rooftops? That would be a hell of a story. But
well, I will be happy to connect you. And,
I'd love to talk to him.
And you can have that conversation. It appears that it was Republicans across the country that were making these claims of voter fraud, more so than Democrats. Am I right in saying that?
I would say so, yeah. I haven't scientifically studied it, but yeah.
But what was extraordinary to me about the election was that Republicans came out in droves and changed the storyline that we'd had in Washoe County for the last couple of years, that Washoe was turning blue, when in fact, when you look at the numbers across the state, Republicans came out in droves. And this wasn't any kind of accident. Donald Trump can be blamed for a lot of things, but I think he can also take the positive blame for encouraging people all across this country to vote. And not only vote, but 78 million people voted for Joe Biden, give or take a few. 72 million voted for Donald Trump. What does that say to you?
In terms of what? The voter enthusiasm on both sides? Or?
I think that if you listen to the media in general, prior to the election, you would have thought that there was going to be some kind of landslide for Joe Biden.
Yes, the blue wave, absolutely.
The blue wave,
a
blowout, country dissatisfied with Donald Trump's 4 years in office, distrust and distaste for the man. But the reality is, it was almost a 50-50 split, and it could have just as likely gone the other direction.
Could have, yes, absolutely. And I think what we see there is the incredible polarization that we've been experiencing for the last 4 years, but also
It goes way back beyond 4 years.
Well, yes, but the last 4 years have been knives out. Sure, there's been polarization always, but the last 4 years, you didn't have this kind of red hot engagement that you see today.
Okay, but you wouldn't say, because I've talked to Sig Rogich about this in the past. When the Tea Party was in ascendance,
yes,
I talked to him about the Tea Party because Sig has been somebody who I think has been thoughtful across the aisle. He headed up Republicans for Reed when Harry Reid was running against Sharon Angle. Sig's point at the time was, who do you want at the table negotiating with all the surrounding states on the Colorado River in terms of allotments? So he's always been pragmatic in those kind of things.
Yeah.
It just seemed to me that, when he spoke of the Tea Party, he said, we used to have the John Birch Society here. We got past them. We'll get past the Tea Party. And so I don't think this is something that's new. In the Reagan era, conservatives were able to, get Reagan elected using Christian radio. We're talking in the late 70s, early 80s, where nobody else was listening to Christian radio except Christian conservatives,
right.
and that was a huge force. So I don't think the polarization is new.
I
think the amount of media...
It's become rabid.
Well, because of social media and because of cable news networks, where 24 hours a day, you can call it news, you can call it entertainment, you can call it opinion, or you can call it propaganda. You pick. How would you define it? Because I
would define it as a frenzy.
Okay, but let me explain what I'm trying to say here. I've known you a long time. I have no idea what your political persuasion is, because as I've known you as a reporter, I've always known you to be down the middle, that when you were doing an investigative story, it wasn't a Republican or a Democrat story, it was about the truth. And you always seemed to me to be right down the middle in terms of the truth. That is not the case with so much media today. It's like everybody has taken sides, and you have to throw your hands up to say, okay, where's the unbiased opinion? You don't have it.
Well, I think, you just said unbiased opinion. I think there's...
Okay, news. I'm sorry. News. Let me correct myself.
Because that line has become blurred, the line between opinion and news. People that watch Fox... Fox claims they know Hannity is not a newsman. Hannity says on occasion that he is not a newsman, but that he's taken that way by viewers. So people don't know where that line is anymore. And you've got MSNBC on the other side, clearly throwing opinion in at every turn. But I think there is, I saw a logo map recently of right, left, the logos of various news organizations, and there was a middle to it, and I think there is a middle to it. And what we have now, though, is the polarization has become so bad. Hannity, I'm told, I don't watch the guy, I don't have the time to do that, but I'm told he came out and said that he asked for solid proof against the Dominion voting machines, because this guy got on his program and said, I've got all this proof. Fine, where's the proof? Nothing. And he said that on his program. And the Fox stalwart viewers and the Hannity people, a lot of them turned against him, because anything that could possibly be said against any of the points they're making is considered to be traitorous, and they don't want to listen to it. I think you see that on both sides.
Yeah, you do, absolutely, because my good friend Amy Tarkanian, who appears on a lot of these national programs and is more than happy to appear on Fox News or Fox Business or Newsmax, also appears occasionally on MSNBC. And she says the emails and texts she gets from appearing on MSNBC are horrible by comparison with the ones she gets elsewhere. Let's take a break. We'll come back more with Frank Mullen after this timeout.
Tamarack Casino is giving away $100,000 through November 28th. You heard that right. Tamarack is giving away $100,000 guaranteed. Every Friday and Saturday, Tamarack will give away $5,000 nightly. And on October 30th and November 28th, Tamarack will be giving away $20,000 in all cash grand prizes guaranteed. Don't miss your chance to win big.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company, with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
Hey guys, are you watching the game at a friend's or the bar again because you can't watch at home with your wife? Or worse, because she kicked you out and kept your couch, your flat screen, and your kids? What's the one thing a man needs when he loses a good woman? A good lawyer. And when he loses a bad woman, he needs a great lawyer. What makes a good woman a bad woman? You tell me. You're the one that can't watch the game in your own home. I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and I represent men in divorce, custody, and family law matters.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Frank Mullen. He's the editor of the Reno News and Review. You can find them online. It's a great paper, and Frank is a great reporter. So one of the things that's really occurred post-election now with these claims of fraud is that everybody is using them for fundraising, whether it's the Trump campaign or whether it's the Biden campaign or every other congressional campaign or for publicity purposes. So Adam Laxalt, one presumes, wants to run for governor in 2 years. This is another way to get his name in front of the public. Every one of Robert Eidhoven's congressional candidates was complaining about voter fraud as well. It's a great way to get free publicity because the media is more than happy to jump all over this and name names.
And it's a great way to undermine the democratic process, too.
Is that new, though?
It is new to this extent, and as you said, social media makes it more dangerous because there have always been claims of, somebody loses, your dead grandmother voted for me, and it's always happened. But when you get to this point, when it is simply taken as a given now by a lot of people that the election is fraudulent, the next election has a lot less chance of being seen as legitimate, no matter what. And it's really scary that it's coming from the top too. I mean, every other president has. There's some arguments over the years. It went into the House of Representatives once. Certainly Florida in 2000, but this refusal to concede when there is absolutely no hope of getting anything reversed. That, I think, is just unconscionable because his minions and the cowardly people who were afraid to stand up to him, I think he's done some permanent damage to the electoral process in this country.
All right, so let me play devil's advocate, okay? And say to you that if Joe over here is an attorney, and he makes his living by being an attorney, and I say, I think there was voter fraud, Joe, I'm going to pay you $1,000 an hour to go chase down that voter fraud and talk to the media about it. Joe's going to take the money.
He's going to take the money, and he should look for evidence, and he should marshal whatever he's got and go to court. But to go to court, in Nevada, they've been to court 5 times, they've been left out of court 4 times. The fifth is coming. Look at Pennsylvania over and over and over again.
I'm not. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is that people have the right to use and abuse the court system in any way they want. You know, look at indictments. You know, the phrase. You know, you can indict a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not like it isn't done on all sides. I mean, the legal system is used.
This is beyond the pale. I think what we're seeing here is an exception. It is taking something that routinely happens over the years and turning it into its equivalent of an atom bomb in terms of the democratic process, because it has gone way too far now.
Okay, but now hang on. So this was explosive before the election, correct? I mean, it wasn't like we had a gentle rise coming up to the election and then boom, this all exploded.
In terms of what? The accusations of voter fraud started?
Voter fraud prior to, but I mean just the general atmosphere of this is going to be one crazy election cycle.
Right.
And some people were pointing, like you said, to a blue wave. Others were saying, no, Trump is going to win. So it wasn't like things were calm going into this.
No.
So this was just an extension after the fact. But my point to this is 78 million people voted for Biden, 72 million people voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. It was a record turnout. Let's take a break. We'll come back and I'll let you reflect. We'll be right back.
Tamarack Casino is giving away $100,000 through November 28th. You heard that right. Tamarack is giving away $100,000 guaranteed. Every Friday and Saturday, Tamarack will give away $5,000 nightly. And on October 30th and November 28th, Tamarack will be giving away $20,000 in all cash grand prizes guaranteed. Don't miss your chance to win big.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Tamarack Casino is giving away $100,000 through November 28th. You heard that right. Tamarack is giving away $100,000 guaranteed. Every Friday and Saturday, Tamarack will give away $5,000 nightly. And on October 30th and November 28th, Tamarack will be giving away $20,000 in all cash grand prizes guaranteed. Don't miss your chance to win big.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Frank Mullen. He is the editor of the Reno News and Review. So my point in saying this is that all the talk about potential voter fraud, craziness on both sides, from the media, from social media, didn't turn out with people in droves not voting and saying, this is all rigged, I'm not going to vote. It turned out to be record numbers of people voting, people that would normally not even bother voting. They were all there.
Right.
So in a way, crazy as it might sound, doesn't this end up being a good thing if more people in this country are actually voting and using their right under the Constitution to vote?
Oh, sure. Well, what was our, in Washoe County, 82%, I think, was the record-setting turnout. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, or that is a terrific effect of this contentious race. But I think the fallout of the accusations, the absolutely baseless accusations that keep going on and on and on, I think that's doing damage to the very system that is helped and promoted by more participation. And then on the other hand, to claim it's a big fraud, whichever side does that, I think that does more damage than the good of a greater turnout. So,
okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Not necessarily 2 years from now, because it's not going to be a presidential election, but 4 years from now, you think the numbers are going to stay the same, go up, or go down in terms of people voting?
I don't know if this is a precedent-setting election or not when it comes to turnout, but I think that if the issues are as they were today, I think that if Trumpism continues for the next 4 years, yes, we're going to see it. Because again, it's going to be that white hot passion that's going on going up to election day. If not, maybe the turnout will be less, but I think the controversies afterwards would be fewer as well. So.
All right. So last, and a quick answer.
Yeah.
What do you think the responsibility of the media is?
I think they should tell what's going on. They should put a spotlight on what's really happening here. You mentioned earlier that when you read my stuff, I try to tell what's going on both sides. I've always believed you never have to hang anybody in print. They always, and without exception, hang themselves. Just ask them questions, print their answers. Don't slant it to, oh, if I quote this or that, he's going to look bad or good. No. Be faithful to what that person said and put out their position as clearly and succinctly as possible. And that, I think, is the job of the media.
And that's what we try to do here on Nevada Newsmakers. Thank you. And Frank, you do a great job. People should come to Reno News and Review online and check out your stories. They are down the middle, giving fairness to both sides, and we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll be right back. Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
You can now watch Nevada Newsmakers on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Nevada Newsmakers and become a subscriber. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching and listening.